Well, Marky Dragon, also known as Marcus Eikenberry in real life, and I'm today at eFanFest, and that's hence the background here. It's very fitting because this episode is about the reboot of my companies and getting into code sales again and everything, and so. Basically, I want to focus on kind of after Shadow Crystal was gone, what did I do? And so really what I know is code sales. And Eve has been one of the most successful games that I've supported, but my origins go back to like Ultima Online. And it, in all honesty, when I decided that, okay, I'm going to do this again, I had to take a look at everything and say, okay, how much did all of this, did all of this stuff cost? What kind of services were we offering in the previous company? When I left the previous company, and really I was forced out. I had planned to take it with me, but that didn't work. And that, I basically lost it in a divorce. And so I had wanted to take the programming work that we had done and the customer list and everything, and really just kind of reboot that under a new name and try and move forward. But it didn't work out that way because I couldn't take those assets with me. And so literally, we had about $500,000 into the programming, over many years, but that's about $500,000 into the programming of the store. And so, rebooting and bootstrapping it, really just having a few bucks in our pockets, and had to bring in a couple of investors, and then, how do we do that? Because we can't replicate that. And so, in this kind of reboot, which anybody can do, and I encourage you in any business that you're in, whether you are starting another one that's like it, or you're currently in a business that you've been in for a long time, to take a look at what is really necessary. Why do I need to have this? Does this provide a big impact for everybody? Does this provide a big customer service impact? Does this reduce the workload on staff? Does this make it less friction for when people buy and everything? And so I looked at all of these areas, and I wrote out the whole process flow of how each transaction works. And then when I got to that point, I said, okay, what do we have to put in place to actually make this happen? And I was able to get rid of a crap load of stuff. So there was just so much stuff that really didn't matter. And there is a lot of stuff that I look forward to adding in the future that is, stuff that, but really, what's the benefit to it? Maybe 1%. And so that stuff that's really low impact has to wait until later. The company itself has to, move forward and earn enough to make sense to do that. And so you look at it as something like, okay, our sales, in the company, let's just say it's $1 million for a year. And it's just kind of easy math doing that. And so you say, okay, what's 1% of 1 million? And that's $10,000, I believe. And so, okay, so how much would it cost us to put in this feature that we believe will directly impact sales by 1%? And sales can be impacted in multiple ways. They can be impacted by bringing new customers in. They can be impacted by just better customer service, and so people come back and buy more in the future. Or, it can be less friction when buying, or, even an advertising campaign. And so you kind of look at that, okay, so if it's, $10,000 to get an additional percent, what kind of time period are you looking at here? And if you say, okay, well, I want it to pay off within a year, then the math is easy there again. So if you make a $10,000 investment that should generate $10,000 over the next year, then it becomes gravy after that. It becomes it just becomes part of the process after that, part of the flow, and continues earning beyond that in most cases. Some of the stuff, though, flops, just saying. But given the fact that I had done this before, and so I kind of knew what different things worked and what didn't, it was not so hard to prioritize those things. So some of the things that I've thought about with the reboot is I've always been anal about customer service, and I'm still anal about customer service. I believe that the customer experience is, you know, one of the most important things. And you know, there's a couple of kinds of companies out there that do retail sales. You know, the ones that just undercut everybody and just offer, you know, really low prices but shit service. And then there's the ones who are premium, and you know the price is higher when you go to them all the time, and stuff like that, but the service is outstanding. You know, I'll consider like a while back when I actually had money, I bought a brand new Hummer, and the service was outstanding for that. You know, compare it to the service of, you know, a used car that's a $200 car or whatever. You know, you're not going to get crap. You're going to get a push out of the parking lot if it breaks down on the way out. That's about as far as you're going to get. And so, you know, trying to fall somewhere in between there, where, you know, you can't be this really high price all the time and expect to get sales, especially in the video game markets. So you have to have a good price and excellent service. And so that's definitely what we've strived to do, and I think one of the reasons why we're being successful. I'm recording this more than a year after having gone into production on this reboot. And so I can kind of look back on it and say that, hey, it's been successful, and you know, I'm happy with the success of it, and in some ways I'm surprised. One of the key factors to success in anything, and this may sound crazy, but it's both who you know and what you know. And so, you know, it's pretty instrumental in knowing people in order to make things happen. And that's how you continue to grow too. You know, you go to conferences and you make connections and you do business deals, and that's how you grow. If you don't ever talk to any other business relations or anything, unless you have some product that, like, you're a programmer and you put it out there and it just catches on fire right away, you're not going to get very far. It takes collaboration. It takes using other people's resources and other people using your resources, kind of as a fair exchange to make all this stuff happen. So the reboot's been good, and it's still not the glory days of some of the stuff that I've done in the past, but it is on its way. And another key thing that I've done is we've decided to be very, very focused on what games we support. And you'll notice that if you go to our store these days, compared to the old store, if you were ever there, the old store had well over 100 games, and didn't support any of them, only supported a couple of them really well. The rest of them had kind of lackluster support, and they were just there. And if you go to our stuff these days, you won't find a billion games there. You're going to find a dozen. And that's because took kind of a different tact on it. Don't spread yourself so thin trying to be everywhere and please everyone. To actually turn around and say, okay, let's do this really well on every single game that's brought on. And if we bring on a game and we find out that we're really not doing this well, get rid of it. Don't just let it sit there as dead weight. Get rid of it. You know, maybe sell the stock first, but totally get rid of it. So anyway, it's been a real pleasure to do the reboot on this, and I'm really happy that that I was able to make this happen, and a special thank you to the multiple people who helped out in getting this relaunched, because literally when I relaunched this stuff, how much money did I have to put into it? It was hardly anything. And so money, resources, yes. Thank you very much, everybody. You know who you are. I actually don't want to call you all out by name, but you all know who you are. So thank you very much. I'm Marky Dragon. Everybody take care.